What's up? This is Review Rant back again with another cringy movie review, and today I will be reviewing Sicario 2, basically, and my thoughts and opinion on how it kind of matches up with the first movie. Now, ever since I saw this movie in its trailers, I thought, wow, this looks pretty interesting. I ought to go see it. So I watched the first one, and man, was this a disappointment from the original. Like, the Sicario 2 was nowhere near as good as the first one. Like, but before I put my, rants about this movie, let me tell you the rights that they did better. Now, if you've seen the first one, you'd know what I'm talking about. But basically, like, this is what I thought they did good. The opening sequence is very true to the original movie. Like, basically, it labels the enemy, it labels the plot, and it really does it in a way that's intense and really gets you into the movie. And I thought they did a great job in that. The second right about this movie, I thought, was the acting. Acting was great. Josh Brolin, Thanos, Cable, whatever you want to call him. He's always every movie he's in, he always brings a performance. And in the original movie, he played, this rough, tough, kind of like officer who's not supposed to be too associated with the U.S. government, but still does the dirty work. And Benicio del Toro, also great actor. Like, I've seen him in plenty of movies, but like I've never really seen him play good character. But in this movie, I think this is his best acting. Now, the next right about this movie would probably have to be and it's not necessarily what makes this movie great in itself, but it kind of, I guess, improves upon the first one, is that they took out the pointless main characters. Like in the first one, Emily Blunt, she was the main character, and she had like another kind of sidekick who was the guy from Get Out. I can't remember his name. They were both pointless. They were both there. Like in the first one, they explained like they are basically there for no reason, and that's my big problem with the first one. And in this one, they take those type of characters out. They definitely focus more on Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, and they basically it lets you see what the first one should have been. Like in the first one, we look at the point of view of Emily Blunt, which I thought was a boring part for them to do. And in this one, you get to see it through Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin, where it's just like way more interesting through that point of view. Now, like I said, this movie was disappointing compared to the first one, so now I'm going to get into my rants about it. To start, like I said, it's like the plot starts out saying, oh, the main problem is smugglers across the border and terrorism and all that, and how they're getting to America. It's spelled out very vaguely in the beginning. Like they say they got to start some war or something, and it's just very vague. I had a harder time understanding. Whereas the first one, I mean, like it doesn't necessarily explain it all at once, but it gives you an idea in the beginning, and then it really spells it out throughout the movie in a very good, fluent way that anybody could really understand. And the first one definitely definitely had it better. Now, the next problem that I had with this movie is that, like it establishes that really intriguing, intense Sicario style, border type vibe in the first 15 to 30 minutes of the movie, but then it just drops off. I mean, I was really disappointed to see. Like it's a big plot twist. I'm not gonna spoil it, of course. I'll do another video, possibly explaining the spoilers and what I. Man, it just drops off halfway through the movie, basically, and I was borderline about to walk out of the theater. It got so bad and boring and uninteresting. And yeah, and then another problem would have to be and they kind of did this in the first one, but I thought they did it better in the first one. The subplot in this movie, it basically is just there so that the main plot can move forward or can work. Like, they don't really develop it that much. They don't make you care. There's huge gaps in between the subplot and the main plot, so I almost forgot about it. Or I was curious of when they're going to show it again in the theater. But yeah, that's a big problem. I thought is the subplot is very illy. It was not very well executed compared to the first one, and trying to help the main plot work out in the end. One of the main, like the main point of this movie, as with any second outing of a franchise or trilogy, is that it's just setting up for the next movie, and that's basically what this did. And it really stunk because I after seeing the first one, I had such high expectations for this movie. With all that said, I mean, I definitely throughout in the beginning of the movie, I gave it a lot more rights. I thought 'cause I felt more true to the first one. I got a lot more feelings of Sicario, the first movie, and then it just kind of it turned into this whole different style. I thought, and it just really became uninteresting in the end. Now there is a final sequence that goes on at the end that doesn't really revive it, but it's okay. And I thought, but my final verdict is the first one is better. And this is because the tone and the fluency, the acting, the sequences, just in general, it is all more consistent, and it doesn't drop off or twist in any unsuspected way that would subvert your expectations in a bad way. Whereas this one, it does that consistency of the first one for like the first 30 minutes of the movie, but then it just drops off, and that ultimately what I thought made this movie disappointing compared to the first one. And yeah, but with that out of the way, my verdict is it's a 6 out of 10. It could have been great, it should have been great, but it just wasn't. It was very disappointing, and I wouldn't recommend you see this unless you plan on seeing the third one, which they're obviously going to release, given by. But yeah, with all that said, review rant out.